Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Got some energy over there.
I'm Trae, baby. I'm Trae, baby.
Back by popular demand.
I thought you threw him away.
The original Kawhis by New Balance. Clippers got now. And to quote the great LeBron James when he took his talents to South Beach, last night, I won from you not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six. I won 7 more cases of Diet Mountain Dew, the breakfast of champions, the nectar of the gods.
You only won 6.
Take a
I get one back. The Hawks won. You won 6, Skip.
The nectar.
Stop trying to miscount. You tried to steal my cases.
You said Jazz in 5 for 5, and yesterday you upped it to 6 during the show. So there's 6 right there.
Right.
Then you also bet me late in the show that your man Donovan Spider Mitchell will go for 40 plus. And he was on track until he went 1 for 8 in the fourth quarter, and he cost you a 7th case of Diet Dew. On one game, I won 7 cases. Thank you very much, Mr. Sharpe.
What about Atlanta?
What about Atlanta? I forget. Did they play?
Yeah, don't do that.
I don't think we bet on Atlanta.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Oh, Shannon, I would have tried to help you with those bets. Come on.
I get it back. I'm going to get it back Wednesday.
The reason Skip is wearing those lovely, bright, highlighter pink New Balances is because for the second straight series, the Clippers have won 2 straight after going down 0-2. LA jumped all over Utah last night with a 17-point first quarter lead. The Clippers would remain in control the rest of the night thanks to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, each dropping 31 points apiece. I know Skip has a lot to say, but Shannon, what is the biggest reason the Clippers even the series?
Well, I thought Utah let the Clippers get comfortable, Skip. The Clippers are good front runners. And they got comfortable. And if you look at the first quarter, Skip, it really doomed the Utah Jazz because they shot 14% from the 3, 28% from the field, while allowing the Clippers to go 50% from the 3-point line. And when they got that big lead, everybody seemed to relax. And this is what we've seen from the Clippers. You must make them execute throughout the entirety of the game, because if you let them get comfortable, all of a sudden, PG is up there holding the poles on the 3-pointer like Michael Jordan in Game 6 against Utah. Everybody, Kawhi's getting out. Kawhi's going to be Kawhi. Kawhi's going to make his plays. But I thought he allowed those other guys to get comfortable. Marcus Morris, Skip, he got 2 games. He normally do 2 games in a 7-game series. This is one of them. You better hope he ain't blind. You better hope he have it at the right time. But that's what I thought. I thought the biggest thing, Utah turned the ball over, Skip. You can't turn the ball over 6 times, not shoot the ball well, and not play defense. So when you exacerbate a situation, you get a 17-point first quarter lead, and Clippers never really looked back after that. Yeah, if you think about it, Skip, over the next 3 quarters, Utah averaged 30 points a quarter, but the damage had already been done. Down 24 at the half, even though they dig into it a little bit into the third quarter and played really well, because I thought Utah played well. I thought there's some things that they can take out of this ball game, especially late in the ball game. This had all the makings of the Brooklyn Nets Bucks second game. Be down by 49 at one point and end up losing by like 30-something. But Utah started making shots, and that's what they're capable of, Skip. The Clippers didn't really show me anything. All they did was hold serve at home. And you and I both know, in order for them to win this series, what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to go on the road, and they're going to have to win at least 1 game in Utah. That's what we do know. So for me, I thought the Clippers got comfortable. They played really well. Skip, if you really look at it, Kawhi and PG weren't that efficient. One is 9 of 19, the other was 9 of 20. But they got comfortable early. They made some shots early. And you see what they're doing. They're keeping Rudy in the high pick and roll, the high pick. And so now they're getting wide open threes, or they're driving to the basket because he's out of position. As a big man, you're asking to change direction. Give the Clippers credit. They played extremely well last night on both ends of the court, especially early on, got the crowd into the game, and Utah was never able to overcome that. But if you think I'm deterred, if you think I'm down, if you think I feel like downtrodden, and all of a sudden I don't feel good, I know how good I feel. I want my cases back. I want my cases on Wednesday's game.
Well, let's just do it on the series.
Oh, you want a series?
Sure.
How would you want?
Well,
Make it loud of yourself.
Well, I'll do the 5.
I want it back. Yeah. Hey, guess what? I feel so comfortable. I want another 2 cases. Donovan Mitchell goes for 40 on Wednesday.
We'll think about that tomorrow. But I'll take 5 cases on Clippers winning the series.
Oh, okay. Now look at you. You feeling all good now.
I was feeling all good before the series started.
No, you weren't. You wouldn't even give me a bet.
What I saw last night was the team that is going to win the NBA championship. I saw the Clippers that I have loved all year from start to finish. I have told you again and again, this is the deepest team in the West. This is the best team in the West. And now that the East is in shambles, I don't know what to make of the East. We'll see a little bit more tonight. But now that Joel Embiid is limping again.
No.
We'll get there. But all of a sudden, it's wide open. It may be Atlanta in the finals for all I know. It may be little Mice Trae. And he was cold last night. He was cold.
You saw what he did.
Did I? Whew, we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I saw the Clippers, again, flash the kind of firepower that makes them at least the best in the West. I saw them come out for once and deliver a knockout blow in the first quarter.
Yes.
Hit the Jazz right in the kisser with a big old haymaker of a right hand. Dropped the Clippers on their golden tails right in the middle of Staples Center and left them to a standing 8 count. And to their credit, they did not stay down and out.
No,
they shook it off and they started to fight back. And trust me on this, there is no more dangerous team in the NBA to hit with a haymaker in the first quarter and then look up and say, wait a second, there are 3 quarters left? There's no more dangerous team than this team because it led the NBA in 3-point makes. And there's no more explosive dynamic duo than these two, Donovan Mitchell and obviously your little man who used to be a Laker, Jordan Clarkson. So the point was, in the first quarter, the Clippers hit 6 threes to 1 for Utah. And who hit those threes? What were my last words on the show yesterday? Tonight is Marcus Morris's night. He was 1 for 12 from 3 in this series going into last night. And I said, he is a gamer. He is a baller. He's a tough guy. He is the toughest guy on this team, and I'm talking about physically and mentally toughest. And what did he do? He nailed his first 3, and then he nailed all 3 of his threes in the first quarter.
Right. And
Kawhi Leonard was 1 of 6 from 3 in game 3. And what did he do? He comes right out and nails his first 3 and made 2 in the first quarter. And my man Paul George, who was straight playoff P from start to finish, he made a 3 in the first quarter, and all of a sudden it's 6-1 from 3. And guess what reversed on the 1 and the 6 were turnovers, because my team came out and got up into the Jazz. My team attacked the Jazz with their defense, and the Jazz turned it over 6 times in the first quarter to only 1 for the Clippers. So 6 threes by the Clippers and only 1 turnover, and 1 3 by the Jazz and 6 turnovers. And guess what that adds up to? 30-13.
And 6 free throws and no free throws for the Jazz.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And 13 points in the first quarter for a team that finished 3rd in offense is pretty meager. And it was a tribute to the Clippers defense, not so much how cold the Jazz were. They just got punched right in the mouth.
They were cold, Skip, but they turned the ball over. They're trying to make
the turnovers. That's what did it. And off they ran. Off the Clippers ran.
And you know how your team front running.
Front run.
Yeah.
Good Lord. I mean, those were the longest 3 quarters of my life watching the team, because second, third, and fourth quarter, you knew what was happening. Donovan Mitchell scored 17 in the second quarter, and I said, okay, here they come.
Well, Skip, he's going to have to start faster, because if you notice, Skip, this is what happened Saturday. He got out to that slow start. They found themselves behind by double digits, and then he gets going. But, Skip, the difference is if someone gets going, if you're down by 24, you're down by 28, and you go on a little mini 7-0 run, you're still down 21-22, as opposed to have the game nip and tuck, and now that little run that you go on by yourself has significant meaning.
Okay, and yet, as I stepped back last night, during the game, Donovan Mitchell and Jordan Clarkson wore me out, because it seemed like every shot they shot went in. Not so. Not so.
No.
If you look at the final box score,
No.
You say, hold on just a second. Donovan was 9 of 26. Well, that's not sensational.
No, that's not. That's
and
bad.
Jordan Clarkson was only 3 of 12, and it felt like he was 8 of 9, but he was 3 of 12. Donovan went 6 of 15 from 3. Well, that's a lot of misses. That's 9 misses, and then 2 of 8 for Jordan Clarkson. So if you add up their point totals, from the floor, they were a combined 32%. Well, you can live with that.
Yeah,
The Clippers can survive that. And from 3, they were 35%. So you can live with that. Right. It's not like they were doing Luka making half their threes.
Donovan needed to be 10 of 15 from 3. Jordan Clarkson needed to be 6 of 8 because they had dug themselves such a hole. Skip, if you look at Ingles get hot. It's making it seem like he couldn't miss in the third and fourth quarter from 3. But they're so far down is that they don't even do anything because what he's doing, he's matching a 3 that the Clippers just hit on the other end. Either Paul George has hit a 3, Kawhi's hit a 3, or Marcus Morris has hit a 3. So you're coming down and all you're doing is you're trading buckets. Well, you're down 22. So trading buckets doesn't help you.
Okay, I got it. Bigger picture, obviously, my team wanted this game more than your team wanted this game.
I agree with that.
And your team led the NBA in rebounding, and last night it got out-rebounded again. It was 44-39. So the clip, that's just want to. That's just desire. That's guts.
Well, the thing is, Skip, is that when they get Rudy out of the game, now they play Derek Favors. And Derek Favors is, He's had it rough, and Kawhi made sure he started out with...
Could we see that just for posterity's sake? Could we just remind everybody what Kawhi did to Derek Favors? Is he still with us? Is that not the dunk of the playoffs? It might be the dunk of the whole year.
That's definitely the dunk of the playoffs.
Yeah, it's the dunk of the playoffs. And poor Derek Favors did they need a body bag for him after this?
He body bag. He got him.
He got him good.
He got him.
He got him good.
I can't even say it that way. I was like, damn. And he from the crib, too. He from Georgia. I don't know you come back after that one, too.
That's late second quarter. And then if I could see one other thing that happened.
And the mere fact that Kawhi, you see what Kawhi did? Kawhi, I'm like, hold on. Kawhi, you a cyborg. You ain't supposed to show no emotion. Kawhi, like, take that with you.
Yeah, he did. Way to go. So the guy who shows the most Clipper emotion was completely out of the rotation for a while, and all of a sudden last night he was back in with great guns blazing.
He was.
And his name is Patrick Beverley, and he was at his best or worst, annoying and agitating and getting under Donovan Mitchell's skin. And if we could see what Patrick Beverley did at the end of the half, this is right, that last shot, he takes it out of his hand, and then he gets him again. From behind, he blocked him clean. 2 blocks.
He did. That was great.
He had 4 blocks for the game, which is incredible for a 6-foot guy. Got him twice. That was a message sent to me.
That's his specialty.
That's what he does.
That's his specialty. I mean, he was on his game last night. Skip, but I'm looking at the rundown now. I don't see one RR on it. The playoff guy.
He's way down there, gone.
I know. I don't see him on the list.
He didn't even dress.
I don't see him on the Skip.
He did not dress last night.
Skip.
Rajon Rondo, playoff Rondo. They put him on mothballs. I mean, literally on mothballs, because he didn't even see the light of play. I got to believe something is amiss. I got to believe he is making internal waves. And Ty said, okay, why don't you just watch from home then, right?
Skip, you know this was coming. Skip, you know how he is.
I know how he is, and I know how he's been, and I still thought he was going to be the missing ingredient.
Yeah.
And here's the truth of what happened. If we can get to then the bottom line, the last few minutes of this game, when it did get all the way down to 10, Ramona Shelburne wrote a good piece on ESPN, a great piece actually, on ESPN.com yesterday about how Chauncey Billups is trying to turn, of all people, Paul George into the point guard for the Clippers.
Right.
Because he's got the gift. He can see it and feel it and distribute it at 6 feet, 8 inches tall. So he can attack and he can dish.
Right.
And that's been their new MO. Let him get to the rim. And if he can get all the way to the rim, let him score it or get to the free throw line. But he's very good at finding open shooters. And as you know, they led the league in three-point percentage shooting, right?
Yes.
They didn't make the most. The Jazz made the most, but they made 42% as a team. That's outrageously great, right? And obviously they set the all-time record for free throw shooting. So this team can flat out shoot it, and he can distribute it.
Yeah, but you allow it, even though they don't make the most, but you keep allowing them to make 16, 19 at the percentage, and with their shoot, you're going to have your hands full trying to beat them.
So the point is, the reason Rondo fell out of the rotation and then completely off the bench and out of sight was because Paul George has become the point guard of the basketball team. So they tried Rondo. Remember, they tried to close game one with Rondo.
Right.
And it fell all apart. And they had issues against Dallas trying to close with Rondo. And he and Kawhi got into it.
And remember, it was Kawhi in Game 6 and Game 7 that ran the point and closed the deal.
Okay. So who closed the deal last night? Playoff P. That was pretty spectacular because I'm scared of Utah because they can shoot the lights out.
The three,
And it got down to 10, and I hate to even bring this up, but my man Kawhi tweaked his knee.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call it just a tweak, but listen.
Looked like he
It was a little hyperextended.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did. He got bumped. If we could see the play, Joe Ingles bumped him. This was with about 5:20 left in the game. He just got bumped, and he was just a little gimpy. And then he went to the free throw line and bricked 2 of them, which scared me. Just got a little off kilter, little hyperextension. He stuck it right there, stuck the right knee down.
Right.
It went sideways a little bit. And he said, I'll get back to the free throw line. He finally he stayed in for a minute and got back to the free throw line and made those 2.
Correct.
And then he pulled himself out and said, enough is enough. So that was with 4:15 left.
Right.
No, I'm sorry, 4:35 left. Big Zoo came in for Kawhi.
Right.
Well, guess what time it is? It's PG time. Is it going to be pandemic P or playoff P? And straight down the stretch over the last 3:39, would you believe that Paul George scored 9 points in the last 3.5 minutes of the game? And if we could just quickly see them, that this is Paul George that has been ridiculed more than any player in basketball after the bubble last year in which he fell all apart. There's the big 3. That was a big one. And then he gets all the way up and off the glass. That was a big shot.
Yeah.
These are momentum breakers. And then he just went right to the free throw line. And I'm pretty sure he swished all 4 of these.
Yeah.
There was no rattle.
He was 9 to 10. Yeah, because the only one he missed was the tech.
Yeah, it was the tech. And those were ice water vein shots where he just stepped up there and made all 4 of them and said, no to the Jazz. Let's go home.
We got to give Ty Lue because Ty Lue has pushed all the right buttons. He's not panicked. You know, Ty Lue got fired, Skip, because Cleveland wanted him to play the younger guys. Ty Lue said, hell, I'm trying to win. Yep. I ain't playing no younger guys. I'm trying to win. If y'all want to play the younger guys, y'all get somebody in here to play the younger guys.
Okay.
And
By the way, he's playing one younger guy named Terrence Mann, who is a plus 15 to lead the whole Clippers in the game 3 on Saturday evening. He led him with like a plus 27.
That's one thing about Ty Lue is not going to be, a veteran player. He's all these credentials. Let me do this. I'm the coach, you the player. Just shut up and do what I ask you to do.
Yep.
Give him credit. But I'm going to give the Clippers credit because over the last 2 games, their 2 best players have been their 2 best players. And that's what there's a reason why you got both of those guys. You need both of these guys to show up. One guy's not going to be able to do it. And they're basically averaging the same amount of points, amount of rebounds, amount of assists. That's what you need. The 2 best players have shown up, and now we have a series going back to Utah. Instead
of 34-30, they go 30 and 30.
Yes.
And that's been the last 2 games.
Yes.
And by the way, they're only the 5th duo since the merger in NBA history to go 30-30 back-to-back playoff games. The others to do it were a guy named Jordan and Pippen in 92, and then Shaq and Kobe in 02, and LeBron and my man Kyrie in 17, and then Akeem and Drexler back in 95. So that's pretty heady company, wouldn't you say?
And think about it, Skip. What did they have, 11 consecutive games of both of those guys have gotten at least 20? So they're playing extremely well. And when your 2 guys play well and you get a Marcus Morris chipping in and you get a Nicholas Batum doing all the little things. Skip, Donovan Mitchell had a layup. Nicholas Batum came out of nowhere. I didn't even know. I'm like, who the hell did that?
He got him.
And he blocked it.
He's got like stretchy arms.
Yes.
Like he doesn't look that tall, and then his arm goes like twice.
He doesn't look like he's moving that fast. He's like he's just skirting along, and then all of a sudden he shows up out of nowhere.
He's their glue guy.
Skip, I'll give him credit. I ain't going to take anything away from the Clippers. They played well. They did what they were supposed to do. They held serve at home. But Utah is a different animal. You know that. 18,000. They will get the Jazz will get off to a better start than what they've gotten off the last 2 games.
Yep.
And
I think it's the strongest home court advantage in basketball.
Especially now because they're the only one that have sellout crowd.
They got sellout. And it is nuts in there. It is an insane
It's the only show in town, Skip.
Okay, so to wrap this up, you know my issues my history with Kawhi Leonard dating back to my Spurs days. He quit on my Spurs, and he had some kind of thigh bruise, and he said it was tendinosis. I don't know what it was. But he quit his way out of San Antonio. Way to go. And you got to Toronto, and you won a championship, and now you got to the Clippers, and I forgive, I don't forget.
Right.
And right now I can't forget, because once you tweak a knee and check yourself out of the game.
Is it the same knee that he hurt, that he had to...
I can't keep up with him. He's had both. And they say he's got arthritic knees.
But, Skip, you remember even in Toronto, in the playoff, that knee bothered him sometimes, and everybody's, well, they don't know how much longer Kawhi's going to be able to play. I don't see a situation, unless it's something that's going to require surgery, Kawhi coming out. He's going to fight through this.
Okay, I don't know.
He's too close, Skip.
Hey, I've been around too long with him. When it comes to pain threshold, we're going to talk about Joel Embiid and pain threshold in just a moment, but Kawhi just listens to his body, and if his body says, I don't think so, then Kawhi says, I don't think so. So I'm not going to be shocked if he opts out of Game 5, and if he does, we're cooked.
Skip, Kawhi is looking at the horizon, and he's like, man, this might be the best chance I got to get another one.
Yeah.
Because you never know what
scares you.
Yeah, you never know what the landscape's gonna look like next year.
Totally agree.
But right now, you see what's going on with Brooklyn?
It is there for the stealing.
Milwaukee, we're not in Milwaukee. Joel Embiid, them knees, Atlanta. Come on, Atlanta's a good story, but they can't beat us in a 7-game series.
Nope.
And right now, Phoenix, we feel very comfortable. So Kawhi's like, It's going to have to be something major where the team doctor says, Kawhi, you could do more harm than good. But I expect to see Kawhi tomorrow night in Utah.
I sure hope you're right. Because I'd give it on a scale of 1 to 10, a 5. That's my trust.
But hold on. Fox Bet still has Jazz favorite.
Yep, Jazz favored by 2.5. So you think you're still in the driver's seat, huh?
I'm in the catbird.
I got all the momentum.
I'm in the catbird. Yeah. I don't know if they got catbirds up in Utah, but I'm in the Seagull one.
Well, the Clippers also have that momentum. They're trying to, be the first team in NBA history to come back from an 0-2 hole twice. That's never been done. So if Kawhi healthy, Skip,
make history.
That number can go up for you in terms of confidence. No mercy. So the Hawks escaped last night with a win over the 76ers in Atlanta to even the series. Down 13 at halftime, the Hawks clawed back behind Trae Young, 17 points in the second half. Joel Embiid missed an easy go-ahead bucket in the final 10 seconds and finished with only 17 points. The MVP runner-up shot 0 for 12 in the last 2 quarters as he dealt with knee issues. I feel like we've heard that before. Shannon, did the Hawks win it, or did the 76ers blow this one?
Hawks won this one, Skip. You got to give them credit. And I love what Nate Mack did. He took Solomon Hill out. He inserted Walker into the starting lineup, and they had 5 guys in double figures. And Trae Young is one of these young guys. And this is what I like about the young players, Skip. They're finding ways that, I can contribute to my team winning if I do something other than score. A lot of time, a lot of players, they only see value if they score the basketball. It's kind of like what I see with football and receivers. They only see value to the team if they're catching passes and touchdown. Them running a great route to get someone else open. Them doing a great block to make sure Derrick Henry or running back gets extra yards or a touchdown is also adding value. Trae Young says, you know what? I might shoot. What do you shoot? 9 or 24 from the field. 8 or 26. 8 or 26.
3 of 11 from 3.
But these assists. John Collins, I see you. Clint Capella on these lobs. Bogdanovich, Werder, Gallinari, 18 assists, 25 and 18. You could live with that. Skip, I really thought the Hawks should have won the game by more, because in the fourth quarter, they were 2 on 7 on open or wide open threes. I thought they were about to blow the game open. They had a 3-point lead, and Gallinari missed one, Bogdanovich missed one, Werder missed one. And the roof was about to come off the highlight factory. The State Farm, they was about to file a claim. Roof is off the building. What's Cliff Paul was about to come. Cliff Paul was about to come take a look at this one. It's not about what you didn't do. It's about what they did do. And Max said it best. They executed. Down the stretch when they had to have buckets. Spotted y'all 14. Come here.
18.
Reel them in. Trae Young, reel them in. Got a big one. Big 300-pound fish. Joel Embiid. Got another 6'10". Ben Simmons got him. They won this game, Skip. Stop trying to shortchange my Hawks. They won it.
I haven't even spoken.
Yeah, I don't want to hear nothing. Because you better get up here and spew like you want to tell me you spewing all over the desk. You about to spew. You about to spew some bullshit.
Yeah.
Bull, you know what about you, Joel Embiid.
I got it.
Because you know why, Skip? When he got 39, you ain't mentioned no knee. He had 40, you ain't mentioned no knee. His knee was hurting so bad last night, he had a playoff career high 21 rebounds. How he do that on one leg? I ain't never seen a one-leg man get a rebound. But that's what you about to get out here and do. Don't do that, Skip. Give my team credit. And I got a case, so I lost 6 cases last night because we had 1 case on the series.
Okay, I'll give you that one. I think you just spewed a whole lot of bull.
No, Skip, you saw it. You watched the game last night. You watched it.
I saw a very different game than you saw. Joel Embiid is a flat-out, unstoppable monster. This team, the Atlanta Hawks, as fun as they are, as game as they were last night, as just crazy, blow the top of the roof off as that place was, it was all about Joel Embiid. You're either going to stop him or he's going to stop himself. But you can't. They have no answer. Clint Capella, as you saw in the previous games, he cannot deal with Joel Embiid if he's right. And for whatever reason last night, he was not right. In fact, he needed Jake from State Farm to help him through this game. That's what he needed, was Joel Embiid. Okay, back to the issue at hand. Got a good source on this one. He has a small tear in his cartilage. And as you know about cartilage, it's just a little flap of cartilage. And it becomes a matter of pain tolerance and just sort of mental toughness, because it's going to bite you occasionally because it's flapping around. And when the mechanism of your knee, it's going to get caught occasionally and it's going to bite you. And it's just going to jab you for a second. And you can kind of shake it off and, you can... It'll go away.
Right.
It won't plague you. It will just irritate you and annoy you on occasion. But for whatever reason, Joel got it in his psyche last night that it was bad. And maybe he thought it was going for worse, like it was tearing more.
Right.
And remember, he got off to an okay start, but he still didn't look right. And then he's limpy-gimpy coming up the floor, and he's wincing. And then he signals to Elton Brand, his GM, and they go back in the locker room for an extended period of the first half. He's in the locker room. And he comes back out, and he's kind of like shrugging, saying, well, I guess I'll try it. And Shannon, in the second half, Joel Embiid, who I thought was the MVP, if he could have stayed, you got to stay upright, man. You got to play.
Yeah.
And your guy, Jokic, played all 72 games. And Embiid, right on cue, he didn't make it to the finish line. Well, last night he tried to finish, and he goes 0 for 12 in the second half. And he became actually a liability. But there's no way Doc can yank him.
Right.
Dwight Howard actually, he gives you all he's got. And if you see what he gave you, the Dwight Howard numbers are pretty good. He played 12 minutes, and he gave you 10 rebounds in 12 minutes.
Yeah, 7 and 12.
7 and 10. That's pretty good, right? So could you have muddled through and maybe won the second half after you had an 18-point lead in the second quarter?
Right.
Could you maybe, but you're there because of Joel Embiid, and so you say we live and we die with Joel.
Well, Skip, he was not nearly aggressive because guess what they did? They cut the free throws that he normally attempt in half. He was 8 of 8 from the line, and normally, Skip, he's something 14 of 16, 14 of 18. So you took 10 points, basically you took 8 to 10 points off the board by keeping his big butt off the free throw line. But I thought they did a good job, Skip, of making him play in traffic without fouling him. Because if you remember, Skip, he was going to the line 16, 18 times in his first 3 games, and they kept his butt off the free throw line.
For whatever reason last night, on offense, he did not trust his knee to attack.
True.
He's drifting, he's dribbling, and winding up at the end of the clock with, I think I'll shoot a step back, fall away, whatever, 3 or long 2.
Well, Skip, he falls in love with that sometimes. He'll shoot the mid range, he'll shoot the 3, and that was the worst percentage of someone shooting in the last 25 years, the 0 for 12 in the second half.
Okay. So you say, how on a bad knee did he get 21 rebounds?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you exactly how. 19 of them were defensive rebounds. Guess what Atlanta shot from the floor?
They were terrible.
37 of 101. They got up 101 shots at State Farm. 101? Are you kidding me? That's 37% that they made. You know, LeBron and company, they'll make 50% of their shots.
And
right?
that was their third worst for shooting percentage from the floor this season. But guess what saved them, Skip? 101 possession, 4 turnovers.
Okay.
So that means
Trae was the leader of that.
And so that means they're at least getting shots up on the basket, Skip.
They just got shots up, and they tried to push the pace against a team that's slow.
Well, you told me Joel Embiid was laboring.
I know.
Well, I'm going to push the pace on this big push.
But you can see if you make 37, 101, I can't do the math fast enough in my
36.
head. But I mean, you've missed, what, 65 shots.
Yeah.
Well, 65 times, Joel Embiid at 7 feet tall has chances just to stand flat-footed and get defensive rebounds.
Yep.
And he wound up with 19, which led to 21 total rebounds.
Ben Simmons had 12, and Dwight Howard had 10.
Okay, I got it. But they're missing so much that they're giving themselves chances to make some, too. So what happens in the second half? Okay, obviously 0 for 12 happens, but if we could see what Joel Embiid did down the stretch, he just blew this game because let's start with 3:32 left if we could see it. This is the first turnover. They're up 1 at this point.
Word, took it from him. Give me that.
Took it right away from him. And then here he goes. Oh, you don't want to be doing that.
We can live with that. He
missed it bad. They're up 1 at that point. And then here we go again. Joel, don't do it. And
Rocky Capella.
That's just
Rocky
close to it. That was almost an air ball. And then this is the shot of shots.
The whole basket.
Okay, so Joel Embiid gets a fine feed for a right-handed layup. It's the easiest shot of his career because usually he's just going to dunk, right? Mm-hmm. And if we could see it one more time, he shoots it over the basket on the fly. He gets the fine feed, and he goes up and under and shoots it and doesn't even draw iron. It's nothing but plexiglass, right? Shoots it completely over the hoop. How can you do that?
I think he was playing for contact. He thought Clint Capella was going to foul him because that's what Capella would normally do, and Capella olayed it, and he didn't get the contact.
And if that goes in, they have a 1-point lead with 8 seconds left. Well, could they hang on? Maybe, because they're a really good defensive team.
They can't do no with Ice Trae.
Huh?
I mean, Ice Trae, give Philly credit now. They got 3 guys on the All-NBA team. Mm-hmm. They got Joel Embiid, they got Ben Simmons, and they got Tebow.
Yeah.
So they're a very good defensive team, even though Danny Green is out. So they can, and Dwight Howard is a 3-time former league defensive player of the year. Yep. So they can play defense.
Yep.
And when you got those big guys, think about it. Trae Young, okay, we'll give Trae Young 6 feet. He's being guarded by 6'10", Ben Simmons the majority of the evening. And then they throw Tebow, who's 6'7", 6'8". So he's...
Who made all defense.
Thank you. So that's what he's up against. And he's finding ways. So you know what? I might not be efficient and score 35, but I can do other things. I can get Gallinari, I can get Bogdanovich, Werther, I can get them easier shot. Skip, that shot that he went to the basket and he went up under and he kicked it to John Collins in the short corner for that 3. That was that was number 3, but that was a very, very, very good play. And he's playing unbelievable. And guess what? We come back to the highlight factory. Now, hey, you better hold Joel Embiid. Whatever's wrong with him, you say something wrong with him, like you told me about LeBron. He out there, right? Everybody tell me about LeBron James. He out there. Ain't nothing wrong with his ankle. Well, Joel Embiid is out there. So if you're on the court, I can't let you use your knee as an issue. If it's an issue, don't play.
I'm not giving him an excuse. I'm just saying it was an issue.
No, what you mean?
Yes, it was.
Hold on. You just said you're not going to give him an excuse, but just said it's an issue.
0 for 12? Did he look like Joel Embiid to you?
Look like Joel Embiid to me.
No, he did not.
Is he 21?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Joel Embiid here.
So you in face only, he looked like Joel Embiid.
What about Capella? What about Capella doing a number? Capella should have been on the all-defensive team.
So as Doc Rivers said after the game, we wasted a golden opportunity. You got him down. You've got the best player on the floor if he's healthy, and you've got Trae Young going 8 of 26 from the floor and 3 of 11 from 3. 3 of 11.
Bogdanovich was 9 of 24 and 4 of 13 from 3.
You've got them missing shot after shot. I've never seen so many little point-blank shots that they missed in the first half. They just couldn't get it to go down. Right?
So just a matter of time, the tables flip?
It felt like they were begging to be beaten at home. It just felt like, okay, you guys got us. You're just too good for us, until Joel just said, no, I can't go. I can't play offense tonight. I can play a little bit of defense, but I can play no offense. Well, if he's going to limp and gimp the rest of this series,
y'all lose.
The Hawks are going to win this series.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I had Hawks winning anyway.
Well, you're just very lucky right now because you know and I know who the best player on the floor is.
Oh, it is. He is.
He's like it's not even close.
But I mean, if you look at what the Hawks have shot from the three-point line the last 2 games, now we know they're better shooting three-point team than what they've shown. Now, we mess around and get hot these next 2 games.
Well, they can shoot it.
Y'all in a heap of trouble.
Yeah. Well, I think they're in a heap of trouble because I don't even know if Embiid's going to play or not.
Man, stop doing that. Stop making excuses. You say you weren't going to make excuses for Joel Embiid, and you're making them. I told you that.
0 for 12? And for much of the year, he was the MVP frontrunner? Are you kidding me?
Give Clint Capella and Collins their due.
8 free throws when he usually shoots 20?
Right.
Great.
That's what you got to do. You got to be able to follow what Utah need to do. Because remember, yesterday, the Clippers shot 38 free throws. We got to keep their butt off the free throw line.
Yep.
Just like they did Joel Embiid. Or put Ben Simmons. I don't care if you put Ben Simmons on the free throw line. He ain't going to make but 30%.
Congratulations, Shannon. You beat a one-legged man.
You
did. Congrats.
Ain't nothing wrong with the other leg.
That was a great prediction.
What's wrong with the other leg?
Well, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess there's no excuse if you play on one leg.
That ain't no excuse.
Oh, he'll appreciate that. And not a lot of rest the rest of the way for this series. Only 1 day off between all
one
these
day,
games.
one
1 day off. Game time tomorrow.
And we young,
so we'll be
young.
watching how that develops. Kevin Durant will have all eyes on him to lead the Nets while trying to avoid going down 3-2 in the series against the Bucks tonight. Kyrie Irving has been ruled out. But get this, guys. James Harden has been upgraded to doubtful. So maybe some possibility there. Shannon, how much pressure is on KD tonight, and who wins this one?
Huge pressure, because he's going to be asked to do something that he's never been asked to do, Skip. He's always had someone to do all the other things that he will be asked to do tonight. He had a Draymond. He had Steph and Clay. He had Kyrie, James Harden. He had a Steven Adams. He had a Serge Ibaka. He's always had someone. All the things that he's going to be required to do tonight, he's had someone to do those. I'm not saying Kevin Durant can't do what he's going to be asked to do. Teams haven't asked him to do that. So he's in very unfamiliar territory, because, Skip, it's like when LeBron be down, they say, well, LeBron, we want you to be Kobe or Jordan. But say, well, that's not what he is. He's Magic. Well, you say, well, KD, we need you to be Magic or LeBron when he's more Jordan or Kobe. So now he's going to have to reshift his mindset. That's not easy. A guy that can get you 50, but normally he just goes and gets you 50. So now they're going to say, KD, we need somewhere like maybe 30 to 40, but we also need 12, 13 rebounds. We also need 10 assists also. For me, if I'm the Bucks, Kevin Durant's not going to play one-on-one. I'm not going to let him play one-on-one, Skip. I'm going to make Joe Harris. I'm going to make Mike James. I'm going to make Blake Griffin. I'm going to make all those auxiliary guys be what I have never seen them be. Be asked to step up, because it's a lot easier to play Joe Harris when you got James Harden and Kyrie and KD, and you're an afterthought. You're the fourth option. Guess what happens when those two guys are out? Your second option. That's a whole different ballgame. The second option, guess what? Gets True Holiday. Blake Griffin. You was on that key, and Blake dug it left and right. Now you go back to the role that all of a sudden, that's what, when you were at the Clippers and when you were in Detroit, when they wanted you and they needed you to be the man, that's what you got to be now. Ain't no more 2 dunks and you good. Nah, they're going to need 25, 30, maybe even 32 minutes from you tonight. So for me, Skip, this is a huge game for KD, because we're asking him to do something he hasn't been asked to do, and he hasn't done. I don't think Kevin Durant's had a triple-double in the last 3 years. But we're going to ask him. He's going to damn near need that, Skip, and he's going to have to be efficient at doing it. 11 or 28 won't get it done, because remember, Skip, he was 11 or 28 with Kyrie, and they lost. He can't go whatever he went, 9 or 24, 9 or 25. That's not good enough. KD's going to have to get you 30 to 40 the efficient way, also while getting double-digit rebounds and possibly double-digit assists. So this is a huge undertaking for Kevin Durant, and we'll see if he's up to the challenge.
So I think you and maybe a few blind witnesses out there, LeBron lovers, defenders, apologists, you few people are the only one who think there's pressure on Kevin Durant tonight. I think there's no pressure on Kevin Durant because nobody else expects him.
Why not? That's the best player on the planet.
He is.
Shouldn't you ask that of him? But if you can't ask it of him, who can you ask it of?
He has nobody to help him. He has no all-stars left.
You never did that for LeBron when he played with Dellavedova and Miles Goff and Tristan Thompson and J.R. and Sharpe.
Kevin Love?
Really, Skip?
He's a 4-time All-Star.
So how many all-time All-Stars Blake Griffin?
Huh?
Just asking for a friend.
Many moons ago. Yeah.
When last time Kevin Love been
He's turned into
All-Star?
Kurt Rambis.
Yeah.
He's like he does windows for him, right? He does all the dirty work. Does he look like an All-Star to you?
No, Kevin.
And by the way, he didn't even play in the fourth quarter the other day. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what you want.
Steve Nash said, I sit him. He had his big warm-up top on the whole rest of the game.
All I'm asking you to do is ask of Kevin Durant what you've asked for LeBron James for 18 years.
If you want pressure, Kevin Durant had the weight of the NBA world on his shoulders in the 2017 and 2018 finals because he abandoned Russell Westbrook in OKC to join forces with that team in Golden State.
But the difference is if KD would come up short, he had Steph. He had Clay. He had Draymond. None of those guys that he's playing with currently are those guys.
They begged him to come save him because they had a 3-1 lead on LeBron and Kyrie, and they could not close the deal.
I'm not denying that, Skip, but I'm saying there's a big difference when you play with Clay, Steph, and Draymond as opposed to Mike James, who's on a 10-day contract.
All eyes were on Kevin Durant. Can you do it? Can you be the difference to get them back over the hump against LeBron? He said, yeah, watch me. And he was the MVP in back-to-back finals, in back-to-back game threes in the King's Palace in Cleveland, Ohio. He took the game over. He made the shot of shots right in LeBron's grill the first time in the 2017 game 3 to take it over.
The difference is he was asked to be KD, a scorer. Now he's asked KD to be a rebounder, to be what Draymond and run the offense. That's the difference between then and now, what he's going to be asked to do.
Okay. To me, this is a gravy game for Kevin Durant. This is icing on top.
No.
If it works, it's a golden opportunity, to quote Doc Rivers, because if he does rise and shine and take this game over and win it, it would be a great legacy game. It would cinch best player on the planet. But if he doesn't, nobody except you is going to criticize him.
Whoa. Hold on. What we've seen from Kevin Durant in the last 5 years, he has not played on anything other than a super team. He needs this game to show I'm more than a super team guy. So no, I won't let you do that. I will not let you say this is a gravy game. He doesn't only need to win this game, he needs to win this series if James Harden and Kyrie can't come back. Because on super teams, he had other guys. It wasn't like Steph Curry was a bum because he averaged 28, 8, and 9. Klay Thompson did what he did. Draymond did what he did.
Okay.
He doesn't have any of those guys now. So without a super team or Harden and Kyrie and Steph, Clay, and Draymond, let's see what you got, big fella.
Who has the most kryptonite of any KD defender? It's that guy named P.J. Tucker for the now Milwaukee Bucks, right? He defends him better than anybody. He's friends with him, so he knows his game.
I think they both went to University of Texas, but Tucker left before
they did.
He got there.
But the point is, he's not afraid of him because he knows him. He knows what makes him tick. He knows him off the court. So he's not afraid to go hard at him because he knows I know they got into it and the security guard got into it, and the security guard's out for these games. He's done now. But the point is that Tuck goes after him. And Tuck gets how to get up under him at about, what's Tuck, 6'5"-ish?
Yeah,
maybe?
probably.
And he gets up under him with his girth and his bulk and his strength, and he knocks the thin man, the stick figure KD, just knocks him a little bit off balance.
Right.
So he's hard to get around and get through and get up through for KD.
Tuck does a great job of making him go a foot to 2 feet farther than he wants to be.
He does. So the blueprint for tonight was game 2 back at Brooklyn. Because in that game, the Nets, now they obviously had Kyrie, but they were up by 49 at one point, and they won by 39.
Right.
And what happened in that game is 125-86 was the final score.
Right.
What happened? Well, Kevin Durant had 32 in that game on 12 of only 18 shots.
Correct.
4 of 6 three-pointers.
Yes.
Well, obviously tonight, you need to take 25 shots at the bare minimum.
Easy.
You need to hit 16 or 25, and you need your threes to go up to like 7 of 11, where you're just hot-handed from three.
Correct.
And your 32 had better be 42 points, okay? But then you look, there's no Kyrie, and he scored 22 in that game. Not devastating, but he was 9 of 17 and 4 of 8 from 3.
Right.
Then we go all the way down to Joe Harris. He scored 13 in that wipeout game.
Right.
He made 3 of 7 threes. Well, as you know, that's got to be in the 20s tonight for Joe Harris, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And he needs to make 5 or 6 threes.
Yes.
And then we go down to Bruce Brown. He scored 13 in that game. He made 1 of 2 threes. Well, obviously, he's going to have to up his ante to 18, 19, 20
But
points.
the difference is, Skip, that Bruce Brown normally gives you points that you're not expecting. You're going into a game expecting these guys to do things that you don't normally ask of them.
All right, Landry Shamet made 3 of 5 threes that day. 3 of 5, you need to do at least that this time. Even that Chioza came in and made 2 of 3 threes when it was a complete wipeout. Blake Griffin in that game that was won by 39 points, he scored 7 with 8 rebounds. But what did he do in that game? He was the primary defender on Giannis, who scored only 18 in that game. Only 18, and was 0 for 3 from 3 and 2 of 7 from the free throw line. Okay? So Blake has to expend every last ounce getting in Giannis's way, because it's your only hope, I think, because you go kind of small. And like Steve Nash said, I wanted to take Blake out to go small. Well, what is he?
Hell, he is small.
Is he 6'9" or 10?
You didn't take DeAndre Jordan out. You took out Blake Griffin. DeAndre Jordan is considered a big.
Well, now, you have taken him out because he's not even in the rotation anymore.
But here's the thing, Skip. When you look at it, you have to ask yourself this. Is Holiday going to continue to shoot the ball? Because Middleton and Holiday, the first 2 games were terrible. Even Holiday was bad the first 3 games, Skip, with the exception of the third game when he made the layup. But he was shooting in the 40 percentile, 30 percentile.
Yeah.
At some point in time, he's too good of a player to continuously shoot that bad. Now, the Bucks are only averaging 97 points a game. Now, that's not a lot of points for a team that possesses the firepower that they have. The question is, with just KD, James Harden is listed as doubtful. Now, yesterday was breaking news he was out.
Well, it's reported that he was upgraded to doubtful.
Right. I don't know what that means, but
well, that means there's a small chance he would try to go, depending on how he looked to Steve Nash and the medical people pregame.
Right. So for me, Skip, it's just that you're going to be you're going to ask more of KD, and you're going to ask him to do things that he hasn't done, while asking players to be people who they've never been asked to be.
Okay. I think it's going to be KD's night tonight. I think he's going to have a best player on the planet type of performance. And I think it will be from start to finish. He's going to play high minutes, and he's going to give you every ounce he's got.
I'm listening. I'm trapping him.
Okay.
He's not playing one-on-one.
Okay, we'll see about that.
And he should win this, because this is a good team. This is not a super team. Because as we sit here right now, the only guy that's assured a spot in the Hall of Fame is Giannis.
Okay.
Middleton and Holiday are not assured no spots.
So the spread has skyrocketed all the way up to Bucks -5. They're 5-point favorites. Wow. So I'll take those 5 for 3 cases right now.
Done.
Huh? Done?
Done.
Done. Thank you.
I know, Jesus.
I got this man on the run.
Actually, 4.
I know, Jesus.
Yeah, you saw me coming.
I saw it
Before
coming.
you made this bet, Shannon, it's actually 4 now with Harden upgraded to doubtful. It has changed
4
because
points.
of that. Does that
Okay,
help
I'll
or
do
hurt
4.
you, Shannon?
Yep.
You're good with 4? Okay, I don't want any...
You know what, Skip? I was laying awake last night. I lay awake. I said, I wonder what kind of bet I could get off Skip for nigga out of Skip today.
Come on, James Harden. We need a miracle.
But I knew
we
Jesus
need a
would fix it
miracle
for me.
recovery.
Now you want a miracle recovery for
I mean,
that's the miracle you're asking for. Of all the miracles you could ask for, you want James Harden's hamstring to be
let's
healthy.
save him maybe for something else.
No mercy.
Tim Tebow is still fighting for a roster spot in Jacksonville, but one Jaguars reporter has some good news for the 33-year-old tight end hopeful. They reported that Tebow, quote, didn't look out of place and looked like he belonged. The Jags also have been linked to potentially trading for tight end Zach Ertz from the Eagles. So, Shannon, what does this tell you about Tebow's future with the Jags?
It doesn't tell me anything, Skip. It all depends on who's writing the article, because I've read some articles says that he does look like he's kind of out of place. He doesn't seem and feel like a natural. And you're asking a guy to switch positions, which is only natural. Asking a guy to switch positions at the age of 33, go to a position that he's never played before, considering he hasn't been in the league in over 6 years. With that being said, I still think he earns a roster spot, because every time I hear Urban Meyer, he doesn't talk about what he does on the field. Oh, he ran a nice out route. He did this. He says he's a great teammate. He's great in the locker rooms. Guys get along with him. I want to know, can he play football? I know he's a Boy Scout. I know he can be a pastor. I get all of those things. Can he play football? football. Tell me something about what he did on the practice field that impressed you. Not what he's like in the locker room. Not he's a great teammate. Not that he gets along with the guys. All that's fine and good, but if he can't play football, the other is no use of you, because if anybody else that couldn't, just because you get along with someone, I've known a lot of guys that got along great, were great teammates. But when they couldn't help the team, they were no longer a part of the team, because that's not a prerequisite. The prerequisite for you being on a sports team in the NFL is that you can play the sport. You can play said position. So for me, it still goes back to this. Urban Meyer loves Tim Tebow. That's the only thing that Tim Tebow needs. He doesn't need to know how to run a stick. He doesn't need to know how to run a basic cross or hook. I'm in good with Urban. Urban believes in me and believes that I'm good for the locker room. That's good enough for me to make this team.
Okay, back to the original question. The Zach Ertz speculation tells me all I need to know about what I've been telling you about Tim Tebow's role with Urban Meyer. And by the way, Urban doesn't love Tim Tebow nearly as much as he loves what he knows Tim Tebow can do to help Urban Meyer win football games as a rookie head coach in the National Football League. So here's the point about Zach Ertz. Last year, Jacksonville had the second worst collection of tight ends this side of Belichick, right? That's what they were. You can't. I can't even remember any of their names.
I can't either.
And the same with New England. And so New England upgraded. Let's see how that plays out this year. But the point is that they need a stud tight end. They need a wise head tight end. They need somebody, and not a Shannon Sharpe, because Zach Ertz is not Shannon Sharpe, but he's pretty good. Yeah. And he's fallen completely apart with the Eagles, and I don't know, it's all about money and respect.
That is correct. That is correct.
Later career respect. And he's probably in his waning years.
A good veteran tight end does miracles for a young quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. So that would be a good get for them if they can pull that one off. What I've said about Tim Tebow from the start is he'll be nothing but, if you want to call him a gadget guy, I call him a designated scoring machine or a first down machine, because he'll be used only in short yardage and goal line as an H-back type. But Urban's very smart about one thing. He took ETN, who I thought he stole late in the draft, and you can say they didn't need him. Well, he's just a home run hitter, ETN, if you watched him at Clemson. So what did Urban do right away with ETN? He put him with the wideouts, because he knows, wait a second, there's some Percy Harvin possibilities here, but you have to teach him to fluidly, naturally catch the football.
They want him to be Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey.
That's correct. And again, it's Percy Harvin for those who know the old days, going all the way back to Tebow in Florida and the, God help me, that championship game when Florida just stuck it to, it was 07, stuck it to my Oklahoma Sooners down in Miami, and it was because of Tim Tebow and Percy Harvin in the third and fourth quarters of that game. But the point is, ETN, he's getting him comfortable just catching little passes to where it's natural to him to catch the football. Same with Tim Tebow. What does he envision Tim doing? Not to be a tight end. He can't be a tight end. I'm sure he did. If I have my guess, he probably looked a little uncomfortable. He's never done it in his life.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, you did it at the highest level, so it's like
natural. I caught the ball. I was a receiver, and I was a tight end.
It's not even second nature. It's like 12th nature. It's like you roll out of bed and you know how it feels to run that stick route or whichever route it is. And when you turn, the football's on you. You just naturally get your hands up to catch it. And you catch it with your hands as opposed to snatching it up against your body. And I'm sure Tim's been body catching them off his pads.
Skip, he's not, like you said, he's just not a natural catcher of the football. And even their receivers that have always played the position that aren't natual catchers of the football. I got it.
But what Urban is envisioning is that odd play here or there. I'm talking about 3 or 4 plays here. Maybe it's 1 play a game. Maybe it's a crucial 3rd and 2 in which you set him up in the backfield in some H-back, and they're in the shotgun, and all of a sudden he bolts into the flat, and Trevor Lawrence just dumps it to him and has to throw him like the ball's going to travel like 7 yards in the air, because some linebacker is going to have to go out there with him. And if you get 250 pounds of Tim Tebow at full speed, and I think he can run 4.6-ish, and he's a pretty good runner of the football. He's got a little make you miss, but he'll just put his head down and run through you, too. Well, if you get that backer out there in the flat, and you've got him in big motion, you got him full speed, and he can turn and catch the little swing pass, I like Tim's. I like his chances of getting the first down. I like his chances of making the 2 yards. And again, he can bulldoze at the goal line because he just, like, what did Urban say? Was it Chris Collinsworth? It's been a month or so ago. He said he was trying to tell his assistants he's a maniac competitor. He's like psycho because he goes psycho. And if you give him the ball with the game on the line and say, get it in the end zone from 1.5 yards out, I would like my chances with 250 pounds of Tim Tebow. That's what he was born to do. Right. So that's the role. It's not going to threaten the rookie quarterback. He's the franchise quarterback, obviously, and it's definitely not going to threaten Zach Ertz if he's the starting tight end. So to me, I get what Urban's doing. He's trying to get him comfortable catching the ball in case they need him to every once in a while catch a swing, maybe even a screen pass.
Skip, I look at it, and Pete Prisco, his evaluation said Tebow was the smallest tight end at practice by far. The other guys, tight ends now, Skip, they're 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". I think Tim Tebow is 6'2", and he's a project. Now, look, there's nothing wrong with being a project. I would feel better with this project if this project was 24, 22, 23, had been playing the game of football, hadn't been away. Hell, I was a project. It took me some time. They worked with me, gave me an opportunity, says, okay, this is what we need you to do. They found a role. I would feel a lot more comfortable with Tebow had he tried this out of college and he'd been 25. But 33 is asking an awful lot, Skip, for a guy that's really never caught the football. Normally, guys, Skip, you tight ends, you see tight ends go to offensive linemen. You see linebackers go to defensive linemen. Man, you're asking an awful lot for a guy after 6-7 years, Skip.
I got it. But Urban's going to hark back to when Tim was, I guess he was maybe 19 his freshman year. He was probably 18, not the starting quarterback. He was the gadget guy. He came in and threw jump passes occasionally, and he bulldozed into the end zone, and they went and won a national championship with him playing that role. I don't even think he'll get that many touches.
You believe he'll be a Taysom Hill without the catches that Taysom Hill?
He's not a downfield catcher. Taysom Hill caught
the ball down the field,
he did. And I think didn't he time with 4.4?
Yeah, he ran like 4.4. Yeah, high 4.4, low 4.5.
Tebow can't do that.
They throw some screens like they throw Taysom?
That's what I'm saying, Screens, swings, just little pop passes here and there, just little gadget plays. And I will guarantee you this about Urban Meyer. During the preseason games, he's going to keep all this as much under wraps as he can because he wants to keep them guessing. He's going to have a little Tebow package here or there that he wants you to have to guess how to prepare for.
Right. You think he'll play some special teams?
Well, he would if asked. You don't think that guy would?
I don't know, Skip. That's a whole different. Special teams is a different animal. Special teams not for everybody.
No, it's not.
You really, you really got to be crazy. You got to be.
If Urban sits him down and says you got to do this for the team, you got to show them that you're in it like everybody else is in it. I think
they're cutting out a lot of the blocking schemes that we had when I was playing, Skip, because they try to do it with the head, taking the head shots out of it.
The one thing
he might could play.
Okay. One thing I learned in 2011, or heck, back to his days at Florida, he is not afraid of contact. He's not your standard quarterback who's going to shy from contact.
Contact at guys running 25 miles an hour is a lot different.
I got it. But he packs a wallop. He's 250. He might be a smallish tight end, but he's not a smallish human being.
No.
No mercy. For the second straight series, the Clippers have won 2 straight after going down 0-2. LA jumped all over Utah last night with a 17-point first-quarter lead. The Clippers would remain in control the rest of the night thanks to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, each dropping 31 points apiece. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard is joining us now. Chris, does it feel like the Clippers took control of the series?
I think I'm going to surprise you guys with my answer because every time you think you've got a read on the Clippers, you don't. So I'm going to say no. And I came on here yesterday and I said you can argue that they have outplayed the Jazz in this series, even though they were down 2-1. Obviously, that's more true today. The Clippers have definitely outplayed Utah in these 4 games. They lost 2 close games in Utah and won 2 blowouts in LA at their home place. However, I don't think that they're in control. I think they have the best roster. I think they have the best duo that's really left standing in all of the playoffs in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. But if I'm Utah, I'm not discouraged. I think it's really a 50-50 series. I stand by my prediction of the Clippers in 7, but I think this thing is 50-50 because Utah still has home court advantage, and Utah has been the best home team in the regular season this entire year. They're 31-5 at home in the regular season, and on the road, they had the same road record as the Indiana Pacers, who didn't even make the playoffs in the East. So they're a very different team in Utah than they are anywhere else. Add to that the possibility of Mike Conley coming back. Clearly, they miss him. Then we all saw, I hope it's nothing. Everybody is saying that it's nothing, but we saw Kawhi Leonard kind of aggravate his knee yesterday. Hopefully that's not an issue, but you got to maybe look at that. Paul George has clearly unlocked himself, and he's playing great, but can you count on him to do that every night? And then here's the other thing. Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris, you can argue to some degree that even though he's clearly not their best player, that the Clippers have gone as he's gone to some degree in these playoffs. Well, he is great at home. 50% as a three-point shooter in Staples Center during the postseason. On the road, 20% as a three-point shooter away from Staples Center. He's 1 for 14 from behind the arc in this series against Utah on the road. So, I got the Clippers winning it in 7, but I don't think they can relax and feel like we've got control of this series.
I agree with you, Chris. All the Clippers did was hold serve at home. Utah held serve at home. Clippers needed to hold serve at home. They did. But the Clippers, for them to win this series, what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to win a road game. There's no other way around it because the luxury that they had versus Dallas is that they had home court. Well, they don't possess that in this series. And I do not believe that the Jazz will play as sloppy in the first at home as they did the first 2 games. Chris, you know you can't turn the ball over 6 times. Can't go 1 for 7. While the team that you're playing against, they have 1 turnover. They make 6 of their first 12.
This is all in the first quarter.
In the first quarter. Mm-hmm. So the game was really, because if you look at it after the first quarter, Utah averaged scoring 30 points a quarter. But that's not good enough because you're behind, so you're playing catch-up. Well, when you're turning the ball over and the team is knocking down threes and they go to the free throw line 7 times and make 6 of them, well, you're in a world of hurt. So you're going to have to do a better job of taking care of the basketball, better job of playing defense without fouling. You can't put Kawhi and PG on the foul line as much as they've done in these past 2 games. That's a big thing. And they're gonna have to get more from Jordan Clarkson. And you look at Bogdanovich's and you look at Ingles' numbers. But Chris, you know this: if I'm down 24 and I make a 3, I'm still down 21. 21. Well, guess what? The Clippers come right back down and hit another 3 in your face because you're not playing defense. And they're getting to the rim. Kawhi and Paul George are living in the paint. They're gonna have to clean that up. I'm not worried. I feel good. Skip and I got another case and a half, 2 cases due. Donovan's going to go for 40, and they're going to go back to Staples. I think they play again on Friday, up 3-2.
And I say you are whistling through your own graveyard. I beg to differ with both of you. You are still underestimating the Clippers. You are still trying to see the Clippers as last year's Clippers or historical Clippers, that Clippers routinely fail when you least expect them to fail.
Clippers gonna clip. Clippers gonna clip. That's what they do.
How about last week's Clippers? Skip, how about last week's Clippers? We thought we knew where they were at Dallas, and we didn't.
Okay, let us count the ways of last week. Game 1, they led by 13.5, and they should have closed the deal, but they did not. But they still wound up with the last-second shot to tie that game. Game 2 at Utah, when that place was an insane asylum, and Utah was making three-point shots out of its mind from the top of the Wasatch Mountains. And what happened? From mid-third quarter to mid-fourth quarter, the Clippers went on a 46-23 run in that insane asylum and took the lead by 2 on a Reggie Jackson 3, and then they did fall apart. But they showed you they flexed their firepower. They came home game 4 and dominated. Last night, they dominated the first quarter and showed you they're just clearly the better team. They're different than last year's team because things are changing. Paul George, as Ramona Shelburne wrote on ESPN.com yesterday, is becoming the point guard. He's becoming the offensive leader in that he's the one who attacks the paint. He's the one who sets up Kawhi. He's the one who ran the show last night and drove them home. He closed that game when it was getting a little bit dicey because there's no team in the league I would fear more down 30-13 after a quarter than Utah. Because listen, Utah can just flat out rain threes on you. They led the league in three-point makes, obviously, and in three-point takes. So they're, with Donovan and Jordan Clarkson, they're the most explosive, dynamic duo as scorers that you can find anywhere. But the Clippers have been doing a very good job on them. And I love what Patrick Beverley is doing for this team because he's bringing back that nasty attitude. He bothered Donovan Mitchell last night. He got up into him. He annoyed him. He irritated. He got under his skin. And I just got to see it one more time. Could we please see what Patrick Beverley did to Donovan Mitchell at the end of the half? Into half. This is like a message sent play where he's right with him. He's right with him. He takes the ball out of his hands on the first shot. Then he comes from behind and clean blocked him at the buzzer. That he got 2 blocks. Patrick Beverley had 4 blocks last night. So to me, the defensive edge that they attacked with in the first quarter will carry over into Game 6. I would like their chances in a Game 6 more than a Game 7. So I like their chances more tomorrow night. But now we come down to what Chris brought up. I don't know about Kawhi Leonard's knee. I've had a long, painful history with Kawhi Leonard because he listens to his body, to me, to a fault. He listened to it in San Antonio to the point that he quit on my Spurs.
He didn't quit. He had a thigh bruise, deep one.
Yeah, thigh bruise. That's all he had. He had a thigh bruise. Tony Parker tore his quadriceps muscle and said his injury was 100 times worse than Kawhi's. I forgive, but I do not forget what he did. He quit his way out of San Antonio. God bless him, he won a championship in Toronto, and I believe he's going to win another one this time with Paul George and the Clippers. I think it's set up. It's right on schedule, but he's got to suck it up and tough it out in Game 5. And he pulled himself out of the game last night with 4.5 minutes, 4:35 left. He's like, nope, I can't go. Well, that scares me because he might say it's a little sore. I better wait until Game 6. And if he does that, I got problems.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. It just looked like he hyperextended a little bit, Chris. I don't like, and I'm with Skip. I mean, we don't know the severity of it. We'll see how he feels when he wakes up in the morning. I'm sure he'll get treatment around the clock. And I don't see a scenario, if anything isn't torn, I don't see a scenario in which Kawhi doesn't play. He has to play. They got no chance. They cannot win a game. They can't even be close in this ball game without Kawhi.
Remember, he invented load management.
You can't load manage in the playoffs. Well, you only got 7 games.
You don't tell this guy what to do and not to do.
Chris, you only got 3 games now. Ain't no more load managing.
Best of 3?
No, I hear you. Skip makes a good point. I mean, again, everybody, Ty Lue, Kawhi, after the game, they said he's fine. Kawhi didn't want to talk about it. But if it were a situation where it's bothering him a little bit, I could see him being like, look, let me get right for Game 6.
Yep.
If we still got a little cushion, let me get right for Game 6. I got to throw this out, too, guys. Ty Lue, he deserves some credit for what he's really in this entire postseason.
Yep.
Yeah, he is coach. Look, with all due respect to Doc Rivers, Ty is making the adjustments that Doc didn't make last season in the playoffs, whether it's changing the starting lineup, changing the rotation.
Yep.
Obviously, they went to zone defense at times against Utah. And he's not afraid to bench some of the strongest personalities on the team. It was Pat Beverley last series.
Yep.
And this series is Rajon Rondo. And
Rondo didn't even dress, Chris.
All he did in Cleveland, right, so all he did with the championship in Cleveland, obviously he gets credit for that. But I'm more impressed with what I see now from Ty Lue than what I even saw in Cleveland because he had LeBron, obviously, to do a lot of it on the court. So he's really done a tremendous job coaching this team.
So, Chris, from what you know about...
And even the Paul George thing, Skip, that you mentioned.
Go ahead.
I know Chauncey's got a lot to do with that, Chauncey Billups.
Yep.
But Paul George at point.
Yep. So from what you know about the guy who I thought was going to be the missing ingredient at point guard, the new quarterback, playoff Rondo, would you believe that Rondo is making so many internal waves that Ty just finally said, well, why don't you watch from your couch because he didn't dress last night?
Was he even on the bench?
That's a really good question.
Was he even on the bench, Chris?
Obviously,
I don't know.
I didn't see him either, so I'm not sure. But he's a strong personality.
Yep.
Remember in Dallas, he butted heads with Rick Carlisle.
They sent him home and said, "Nah, we good."
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So it's possible. I don't know the answer to that, Skip, but it's certainly possible.
Okay. So final point that you made that I've made many times on this show. In the end, the Clippers do go as Marcus Morris goes. And I remind you, as poorly as he shot the three on the road, remember that huge game 3 in Dallas, the turning point game when they got down 30-11. In the fourth quarter, he made 3 threes from that, watch on TV, that far corner to the right. He just drained them 3 in a row that basically cemented the game for them. So he'll make them on the road occasionally.
It's easy. I think Ty Lue has an easy job because they say, hell, he coached LeBron. LeBron listened.
LeBron coached LeBron.
No, he didn't. Ty Lue, he was trying to draw up a play, and LeBron was there. He and Kyrie said, hey, y'all shut the bleep up and let me coach the team. Y'all just play.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Who told you that?
Go pull the tape.
Really?
Yeah, you can pull the tape. Ty Lue is his own man. Ty, that's one thing about Ty. Ty is Ty.
Okay.
I can respect that.
No mercy.
Kevin Durant will have all eyes on him to lead the Nets while trying to avoid going down 3-2 in the series against the Bucks tonight. Kyrie Irving has been ruled out, but James Harden has been upgraded to doubtful at this point. Chris Broussard still with us. Chris, what do you expect from KD and the Nets tonight, as we will all be watching him?
And yeah, Jen, on Harden, the reports are that he's actually going to try to test his hamstring and shoot around this morning. And so obviously, if he plays, that changes everything. But let's assume he doesn't. I like what I saw from KD yesterday in his press conference. I thought he had his game face on. I thought he was not making any excuses. He wasn't feeling sorry for himself or anything like that. So I like that attitude. And he's obviously going to have to play a huge game for them tonight. Here's another. The key to me is this. I do not believe the refs will allow P.J. Tucker and the Milwaukee Bucks to be nearly as physical as they were in the games in Milwaukee. Steve Nash, he's already, he's smart. He's throwing it out there. You heard him say, right. He planted the seed and he said P.J. Tucker was playing like non-basketball physicality with the Nets. And he was. I mean, I loved it. It was almost like going back to the 90s basketball with what Milwaukee was doing. But there is no way I think the refs will allow that in Game 5, which obviously will help KD. KD is going to, as he said, he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more, assuming Harden's not there. And look, he is not LeBron James or Luka Doncic as far as playmaking. So he can bring the ball up court. He is a good passer, but he's not what those guys are running the point. So I think he can do an adequate job at that, but he won't be exceptional at it like LeBron or Luka, and just when they double him or trap him and try to get the ball out of his hands and picking them apart with passes to the right players. And let's be honest, the right players aren't out there. So even if he were doing that, it's going to be tough. I predict that KD will go for 37 points, 6 assists, or 46% shooting. I'm getting specific. In a loss. I hope Brooklyn can win, because I think it makes it more dramatic for the series, especially if one of their 2 stars can come back. And obviously I picked Brooklyn in this series. So I hope they can win, but I think 37-6, 46% shooting, and a loss for the Nets.
Wait a second. I got to ask. You said he's going to make 46% of his shots?
Yep.
What tarot cards are you reading? I mean, where did that come from?
Man, he from Louisiana. You know they got the voodoo on it.
I don't know. That's scary.
You know when the been
I don't
Rudolph.
mess with the tarot cards. but no, because obviously, whether he shoots 50% or better or hits half his shots or better, that's critical. I don't think he'll hit half, but he was, 37% in the last 2 games.
20 or 53.
I think he'll be markedly better than that. I think he'll be markedly better. What was that?
He was 20 of 53, 11 of 28 in game 3, 9 of 25 in game 4. Chris, the thing that we're asking Kevin Durant to do is something that he's never been asked to do in his entire career. He's always had someone to facilitate the offense for him. He's always had someone to do the dirty work as far as rebounding for him, be it Serge Ibaka, Steven Adams, Draymond, Kevon Looney, whomever the case may be. He's always had someone to run the offense. Russell Westbrook, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Kyrie, James Harden. For the first time in a very, very long time, maybe since high school or even college, he does not have a guy to get him the easy shots. He's going to be required to get everybody else easy shots. We always ask LeBron, be like Kobe, be like Mike, take the game over, shoot the ball 30, 40 times. Well, now you're going to ask Kevin Durant to be Magic or be LeBron, or as you said, Luka. Not only do we need you to get 30 to 40, but we also need you to grab 13, 14 rebounds while dishing out 10, 11, 12 assists. So we've never asked Kevin Durant's never been asked to do that. I'm not saying that he can't do it. He just hasn't been asked or has been asked to do it over stretches of time. Without Kyrie, without James Harden, Skip, he needs to be that. But the difference is when he was in Golden State, he had Clay, he had Steph, he had Draymond. Brooklyn, for the most part, he had Kyrie, even though they weren't there a lot, Kyrie and Harden. Now he got Mike James. Now he has Bruce Brown. Now he has Joe Harris. Now he has Blake Griffin. Now you're going to ask Blake Griffin to be what he was in L.A., what he was in Detroit.
Right.
That's a whole different animal. You're asking Joe Harris, you know what, Joe? Holiday got your number. Because, see, he don't have to worry about Kyrie. So now he can focus his attention on you. Chris Middleton, like, okay, I can help PJ because who else out here am I worried about? Giannis, who gonna guard Giannis? They played Blake on Giannis, and all of a sudden they sent him to the bench, and then had Bruce Brown trying to play Giannis. Had Joe Harris. I'm like, what? Giannis should not shoot 1 3 in this game. If Giannis take one shot outside of the paint other than a free throw, I'm going to be sadly, sadly disappointed. Get your butt in the lane and punish this small team.
So, Shannon Sharpe, do you think if the Bucks decide to blitz and double Kevin Durant every time down the floor, as you are recommending, do you think he's capable of getting 10 assists tonight?
Could he?
I do. They have to cash him.
There you go. Skip expectations. You got a different expectation of Joe Harris.
What would that mean for his points, too?
Yeah. But I'm getting the ball out of his hands.
What would that mean for... 23 and 10 is not enough.
30 and 10 probably not going to be enough.
I'd rather have 37 and 6. Yeah, he's going to have to score big points.
Okay, so here's the point you both have missed. Maybe you know it, you just don't want to say it.
What?
The pressure has swung wildly from the Nets to the visiting team, the Bucks, because all of a sudden the Bucks went from hopeless underdogs to prohibitive favorites.
Yeah.
They're up to, well, I guess the Harden thing knocked it down, but a couple hours ago they were a 5-point favorite.
Yeah, I think it's 4 now.
And now it's down to 4 because of the possibility that James Harden might or might not play.
Correct.
But at least there's doubt.
Right.
Okay, so it went down to 4. But they're still strong favorites. Well, you don't think the pressure's not on the Bucks?
It is,
Yeah.
but it's also on Kevin Durant, Skip, because guess what? Kevin Durant has never gone into the playoffs in the last 5 years as an underdog.
Okay, but nobody expects him except you because you want him to not look like the best player on the planet.
Hold on.
Nobody expects him to win this game.
Why would we not expect this from the best player on the planet when we've expected it from the best player on the planet for the last decade? So we're going to ask Kevin Durant not to deliver us something that you've demanded from LeBron.
You mean we've expected from Kawhi?
All right, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this, Shannon. I'm with Skip on this. I think Kevin Durant, in a lot of ways, he's in a no-lose situation. Because nobody's expecting him to win this game.
Whoa! How you mean? Hold on. Chris, this is a good team. This isn't a super team. But you expect, hold on. You expected.
No, but they are a legitimate championship contender. If they get past Brooklyn, they got as good a shot as anybody to win the championship. Now, here's what I'll say. Kevin Durant, while close, is not as good as LeBron. Like, in their primes. Both of them in their primes, LeBron is better.
That's not what Skip's saying.
LeBron, well, I think he'd give it to LeBron in his prime, I think. But hold on. LeBron, even at his best, even in his prime, only beat one championship caliber team ever without a second star. And that was Detroit in 2007. Otherwise, he's never beat anybody like that without Wade, Bosh, Kyrie, or Anthony Davis. So to ask that of Kevin Durant, I don't think that's fair.
Whoa. Hold on. The man joins a super team. He's always been favored. He's always had the luxury of saying, you know, if I got an off, I got Steph, I got Clay, I got Draymond, I got Kyrie, I got Harden. Are you saying the teams that LeBron has played on, be it with D. Wade and Bosh, are the equivalent of what KD has played on in Golden State and in Brooklyn? Is that what you're telling me?
What I'm saying is he had two superstars just like Durant did. I do think Golden State and Brooklyn were better because the pieces fit together than that Miami team. But he's nonetheless had two superstars with him in their primes.
I'm not okay, but I'm talking about in the playoffs. In the playoffs, LeBron has gone to the finals with no superstar, with no all-star.
But he didn't go through a team like Milwaukee. Toronto wasn't close to this Milwaukee team.
I'm glad you said that.
Was Toronto or young Boston equal to this?
I'm glad you said.
Toronto or the young Boston team?
I'm glad you said that. So which team did Jordan go through that was the equivalent of Golden State? I'm glad you brought that up. So which team did he go through?
Jordan never got
No. I asked Chris. I didn't ask you about no game.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Chris, I didn't ask you about a game 7. I asked you the equivalent team that he went through of the Golden State Warriors. That's all I asked. I didn't ask about 5 games. I didn't ask about 25 games. I just want you to give me the equivalent.
He didn't have Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade either.
Hold on. Chris, all I asked you was a simple question. Can you give me the team that Jordan beat?
State.
Huh?
He was the Golden State. He was the Golden State.
Thank you.
All right? He didn't play a Golden State.
Yes,
he was
did.
the Golden State.
He did. He played the Boston Celtics. That was the big yeah.
You know what? When he played Boston, he didn't have a Kyrie. He didn't have a D. Wade.
What was Scottie Pippen?
He didn't have an Anthony Davis.
Scottie Pippen got a book out saying he was the reason.
Young when they lost to Boston.
Scottie Pippen said he was the reason.
A pup when they lost to Boston.
Okay, back to the game at hand because somebody keeps trying to change the subject because somebody's afraid that KD is going to have a night of nights tonight.
Cases.
Okay, I got it, but I get the points.
Okay,
I got the 4.
Yeah,
right?
you got 4.
I got the 4 for 2 cases. Thank you very much. The pressure tonight is all on the guy we haven't even mentioned. It's that guy Giannis, the perennial MVP.
Yes.
Okay, let's see if he can rise and shine under this pressure.
Yeah,
the pressure, as Chris aptly pointed out, is on the referees tonight. Let's see how they do officiate this because I think they're going to be blowing their whistles a whole lot on the Bucks.
If they are? Okay, well, Giannis, if they're going to be blowing that whistle, put your head down and get to the paint because they're going to call it both ways because Sunday, they let everybody play. It's funny, Chris. Everybody say the NBA is getting soft and they want 90s type basketball. Well, that's what you got Sunday and the Bucks in the net and everybody crying now. You notice that? If everybody wants the 90s, you notice, Chris, all the players, the NBA gets soft. Every time they shoot the ball, what do? They turn and look to the official. Well, you ain't gonna give me no call, but you want 90s basketball. So do you want 90s basketball, or does that sound appealing to the fans' ear? You don't want 90s basketball.
Not tonight, you don't.
No, I'm talking about the NBA, period. But they got 90s basketballs on Sunday.
They did.
And you didn't, and nobody liked it. They got 90s basketball. Well, I don't think that was 90s basketball in Game 3. That was just terrible shooting basketball in Game 3 , Chris, because nobody could make a shot when you got an 86, 83 type ball game.
Yep.
That was just bad basketball. They had nothing to do with fouls.
The referees got the memo today, though.
Oh, Giannis.
Yeah. No more football.
The bad thing about that is Giannis can't make free throws because Giannis going to probably go to the free throw line about 20 times.
Okay, good. And he'll make 7 of them. He will.
Oh, he's going to be 7 or 20 for the free throw line.
Yeah, he will. I'll take that.
That's all right. You'll take my case of do. 4 points, that's nothing.
Kevin Durant, you got this. This is your night. Yesterday, I proclaimed it Marcus Morris night. Now it's Kevin Durant night.
KD night?
You got it? Oh, you went
points from Durant.
Chris, how many points from Durant?
I think he'll go 35-ish. And he'll have 10 assists.
Who you got tonight, Chris? The Bucks or the Nets?
I got the Bucks. I'm pulling for the Nets, but I got the Bucks.
Hey, let me tell you who I got. That's who I got, Chris.
I do not fear the deer.
I've never
You
seen
should
do
fear
that.
the deer.
No. Johnny got something for you.
Yeah.
Do you believe Holiday gonna continue to play this bad? And now he ain't got to worry about Kyrie? That means Joe Harris might not get a shot up.
Blake Griffin's got Giannis's number.
And Forbes let them 3 go to
he does.
over
He's good. Yep.
He money. They call it Forbes magazine because he money.
No mercy.
Saturday, the TSL Mega Bowl is on Fox. Catch the linemen as they battle the Jousters for the championship crown. The action begins Saturday at 3 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. The Hawks escaped last night with a win over the 76ers in Atlanta to even the series, down 13 at halftime. The Hawks clawed back behind Trae Young, 17 points in the second half. Joel Embiid missed an easy go-ahead bucket in the final 10 seconds and finished with only 17 points. The MVP runner-up shot over 12 in the last 2 quarters as he dealt with knee issues. Chris, would the 76ers still be able to win with a hobbled Embiid?
So hobbled means playing, but playing less than 100%.
Yes.
They certainly can't win a championship that way. They can't win the East that way. Like, I think if Milwaukee beats Brooklyn, Milwaukee would beat Philly. If Brooklyn's healthy, obviously they beat Philly. But can they beat Atlanta? Yes, with the hobbled Embiid, as long as he's on the court, and let's say he's the Joel Embiid from last night. And I know he was 0 for 12 in the second half, but I don't know how much that had to do with the knee. Because when he came back from the locker room in the second quarter, he went 4 for 4 initially. And then he just fell off in the second half. But look, a great player can have a bad game. Whose record did he break by going 0 for 12? Michael Jordan, who went 0 for 11 in a playoff game.
What? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Don't you say that. Chris Broussard, they're going to take you out there.
I know I gave Shannon some fodder.
If you say something negative about Skip Bayless, has never mentioned that in 5 years. Did you know this?
6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs. Next question.
0-11 in the playoff game.
Shannon, they were up 3-0 when he had the bad game in Game 4, so he didn't care about it. But anyway, my point is this. I don't think that the second half was because Joel Embiid is really terribly hurt and just can't get it done anymore. I think it was just a bad, horrible shooting half. I don't know how to explain it. There's no excuse for the missed layup. That actually reminded me of Patrick Ewing's missed finger roll against Indiana back in the 90s in the playoffs. But he's got to make that shot. But I expect Joel Embiid to come back in Game 5 and have a big bounce-back game. And what I want him to do if I'm Doc Rivers, and he has, this year he's been more inside than ever. But he still spends a lot of unnecessary time outside. And I don't know how good that is for the knee. Because when he's outside and he's making some moves and he's doing spin moves, he's cutting a little more, putting a little more pressure on that knee. I want him to play even bigger. Clint Capella is a great defender, but he is woefully undersized against Joel Embiid. Embiid needs to be a little more inside and just drawing fouls galore on the Atlanta Hawks because we know he's a great foul shooter. He only had 2 offensive rebounds yesterday. That tells you he's spending too much time outside. And to be honest, he only averages 2 offensive rebounds a game. So he's not a very good offensive rebounder because he's outside on the perimeter a little more than I would like a guy that size to be. So I want him inside a little more. I think he has a bounce-back game, and they can still win this series, even if he's less than 100%.
I know it's June, but it's the ice storm headed up to Philly.
Really?
Yeah, it's moving fast.
Huh?
Yeah, you ain't seen it this morning? Huh? Yeah, Al Roker said there's a storm, an ice storm headed up to Philly from Atlanta.
Really?
Yep. Your day coming.
Because Trae Young was cold last night. He was shivering because he missing so many threes.
He did, but he had his best magic. He had his best Magic Johnson.
8 of 26 from the floor. He was cold.
But you don't want to talk about these assists, huh?
Yeah.
You going to talk about that? What about your guy? I think it's Father Time touching Joel Embiid on the shoulder. Because that's what you told me about LeBron. LeBron wasn't hurt.
By the way, whatever happened to LeBron
Don't worry
James?
about it.
I don't know whatever happened to him.
He in the lab.
Oh, is he?
He in the lab.
What kind of lab?
Don't worry about it.
Making movies?
Embiid's what, 26?
No, I'm just being
26,
facetious because that's what they do. That's what they do. Because when LeBron had the high ankle sprain, Chris, they talk about ain't nothing wrong with his Father Time. Now, I didn't hear anything about no injury when Joel Embiid dropped 39. He dropped 40. He dropped 27. Did you hear anything about the knee, Chris? He had 21 rebounds last night, which is a playoff high. I ain't never seen a one-legged man grab a rebound. You, Chris, they let one-legged men in the NBA. So don't do that, Skip Bayless. You always trying to finagle your way out. Get them Hawks. The highlight factor was electric last night. That thing was going bonkers. Ice Trae hit a couple of them threes, but he said, you know what? Y'all want to put old Ben Simmons, first team All-NBA, Thibault, second team All-NBA, Joel Embiid amongst the trees. Oh, y'all got 3 All-NBA players. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this thing, do what I do. I'm going to draw y'all, and then I'm going to kick that thing to John Collins. I'm going to kick it to Gallinari, Bogdanovich, Werder. What you got? I told you once we got Solomon Hill out of the lineup, because I don't know how many games you're going to win with a guy scoring 1 point or a guy scoring 0 points in an NBA game in the playoff. You're not going to win like that. But guess what, Skip Bayless? Your day. You had an opportunity. Y'all was up, what, 18 at one point?
18.
And guess, Trae Young, reel them in. Joel Embiid, come here. Ben Simmons, come here. Reel that victory in. Y'all done in 7. Might be 6.
Joel Embiid and the 76ers should be ashamed of what happened last night at State Farm.
No, they should.
They needed Jake from State Farm because this was a disaster. This was a home team, the Atlanta Hawks, who shot 37% from the floor. They shot the ball 101 times and only managed to make 37 of 101 shots. 101 attempts. It's impossibly wrongly bad. From 3, they shot 30%, and they managed to win the game. Because clearly, if you know Joel Embiid, he does not have the highest pain threshold, pain tolerance. And in the second half, he let the knee get to him psychologically. It's got a small tear in it. It sometimes catches in the mechanism. It bites. But it's just an annoyance. It's just something that irritates you, but it'll go away if you'll let it get the demon out of your head. And he couldn't get the demon out of his head because clearly on offense in the second half, he did not trust himself at all. He would no longer spin on Capella and dunk on him. He said he couldn't jump, and I think there was proof positive. That layup that he missed, that's to win the game with 8 seconds left.
That wasn't win no game.
Yes, it would have, because they can lock him up on defense. They would have locked him up. They're not going to score at the end of the game.
Okay, see.
The point was, it was the worst shot I've ever seen a great player miss, where he didn't just miss it. It's a right-handed layup, and he shoots it completely over the iron. It misses the entire rim and hits nothing but plexiglass on the other side.
He's playing for contact.
Yeah, well, what are you doing? He said, well, I couldn't jump. I usually dunk that. Usually dunk it, yeah. Usually he reverse dunks it. You know, he clowns you by dunking it. It was as wide open, a right-handed layup. It's the worst missed shot I've ever seen in a big moment in a playoff game by a great player, because it's the all-time bunny, right? For a 7-footer to miss it at the rim. It's not even a finger roll like Patrick Ewing. At least that's like a delicate, like a finger roll shot. This is just... I got it right here.
Y'all had a 19-point lead.
18.
Okay, my bad. Y'all had an 18-point lead.
You know, Embiid blew this game. If we could just see quickly what he did down the stretch, He
Nothing.
coughs the ball up at 3:32. If we could just see it. This is horrendous.
Look at Werder.
You know, they're up
Give me
one
that.
right here, and he just lets
Werder. Kevin Werder.
Herder just take it away from him. And then 1:53 left.
Brick.
Yeah, it's just a brick, and they're up one at that point. 1:28 left. He's got this little step back. It's almost an air ball. I think it hit nothing but the bottom of the net, and they're up one at that point.
That's the one that
Then
hurt you right
He
there.
misses this one to go up one. These are all you're up one, up one, up one, and down one when you miss the last one. The game is being begged. You're being begged and begged and begged. Please win this and put us out of our misery.
Hey, but Chris, if you watched the game last night, the Hawks had an opportunity to put this game away also. They were 2 of 7 on threes, on wide open, on open or wide open threes. Gallinari missed one. Bogdanovich missed 2. They could have completely just went ahead and put you out your misery, and you wouldn't been complaining today talking about you had a chance to win the ball game if they'd just hit those shots. But Trae Young is a young player that's unique, is that he's found a way that I can impact the game without scoring. Because a lot of guys tie success to them, their team, to just scoring the basketball. He says, nah, everybody eat. I'm not going to be the only one I can feed myself. But you know what? He's like, I can feed 5,000 too.
You know, Embiid and Kawhi are a lot alike.
I think you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris.
All right, Skip, I think you guys are letting Ben Simmons off the hook. I mean, Ben Simmons, almost as bad as 0 for 12 Embiid, is Ben Simmons 1 for 1 in the second half.
Yeah.
And I know he's not a scorer, but I need him to be more aggressive. 1 for 1, and you've said it, Skip, he don't want to go to the foul line.
No.
We know he's not going to shoot a jumper, so he's going to have to score in the paint, but it looks like he doesn't want to take
1 for
paint
5.
shots because obviously you could get fouled. You could get fouled. And so he doesn't want to go to the line. So Ben Simmons has to step up and give. He wasn't even dishing. He wasn't getting it to the right players because Tobias Harris only had 5 attempts in the second half.
Okay, so Chris,
Ben's got to be better as well as Embiid.
what happened in Game 3? Doc got up into Ben Simmons at halftime, and Ben finally said, "Okay, that's what you want me to do, attack." And he scored 11, and Embiid has scored 11 in the third quarter. And what do? They just blew him off the floor.
Yeah, I'm just fouling him. Chris, I'm just going to foul Ben Simmons. Just like Giannis. Giannis getting to the paint, I'm going to foul his butt. Ben Simmons getting to the paint, I'm going to foul his butt. You shooting 30% from the free throw line, I'm not going to let you dunk it or lay it up.
So, closing point here.
I would do the same.
This is Embiid and Kawhi, who actually know each other. I could go into detail about that, but they have the same mindset. If their body tells them I'm not exactly right, they just shut down. It's not old school. Neither are old school. Old school is, I just play through this. It's time to play through it. We had them on the ropes. We could have gone up 3-1. It would have been over. You know it. It would
Saved by the bell.
Okay. Well, was it?
Yeah, we saved by the bell.
Saved by Embiid.
That's saved by the bell. So you know what that means, Skip?
Yeah.
You got to come back to, now you better win Game 5. If Embiid is as hobbled as you say, we'll see. Because if you lose by Game 5, you won't go back to Philly for a Game 7. That won't happen.
Okay. Well, you can front run and talk all you want now because Embiid is hobbled.
Hold on.
Philly in Game 5.
Chris, you talk about somebody front running. Here he came out here bragging, got Kawhi shoes on today.
Bragging?
And you talk about front running.
I won 7 cases of Diet Dew on one game last night.
Exactly.
On one game. Thank you.
Hey, what did you do? Okay.
Who shouldn't brag about that?
Okay, last week, what did you do? You came out here last week and threw Kawhi shoes halfway across the building.
Same shoes I retrieved them from the trash. I did.
You do a lot of that. You Cowboy jersey and Kawhi shoes, you've been digging in and out of the trash for a year and a half.
I'm over-emotional. I'm a fan. I can't help it.
You a trash can bandit. You in the trash every time I turn around. You digging something out of the trash.
Okay. Fortunately, it doesn't get thrown out till Saturday.
Yeah, it's
that jersey, Zeke jersey, Kawhi shoes.
Well, I do.
Yeah,
I admit it.
If Kawhi lets you down again, which I'm just going to let you know, it may happen again, don't go throwing anything my way, Skip.
Okay,
that was uncalled for last week. And
the one thing I never throw away is my Tampa Bay number 12, because I don't have to throw that one away. Because they're going to win it all again next year.
No mercy.
Paul George dropped 31 points for the second straight game, and both resulted in Clippers wins. PG-13 also scored 9 of those points in the fourth quarter last night while playing nearly 11 minutes. He finished the game on 4 of 10 from shooting from beyond the arc. So Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how much do you trust Paul George going forward?
3 possible 4. Yeah, he ain't built my trust yet. He's still done too many things that I can't trust him. You know, he was some places he wasn't supposed to be, and then he told me he was going somewhere and he wasn't actually there. So to make a long story short, I can't trust him. Yeah, I was just saying, you know, that's just
he's one of those.
Yeah, you know, you have somebody destroy your trust.
Hypothetical.
Yeah, it takes a while for that trust to build back.
You actually had something with him, you know, where you were supposed to meet him.
No. I'm just saying. It's like when you destroy the trust with someone. It takes a while. You can't do 1 or 2 good things and think that trust has been restored. It's gonna happen over a period of time. Because guess what? He diminished what he had accomplished over a period of time. It wasn't just one game that all of a sudden we was like, well, dang, Paul George is terrible. There was a series of games. There have been a number of games in which Paul George hasn't played well. So it's going to take at least that many games for him to ingratiate himself back with me. But I think, you know, am I supposed to forget we just saw 4-17 in game 1, Skip? That happened, right?
And we saw 13 in game 1 in the fourth quarter.
And we saw, let's see, we saw 7 of 15 in game 5 against the Mavs. We saw 6 of 15 in game 6. We saw 5 of 15 in game 7. We saw 4 of 17. And then we saw what he was like, wasn't much better in game 2. So after 2 good games, you're going to dismiss the 5 that I just showed you. No, I cannot do that. So I'm going to say 3, maybe 4. So I get back to you after game 6. After game 5.
You better hope you're right, because what I'm seeing...
You better hope I'm wrong.
I'm seeing an emerging superstar. I'm seeing a guy who has taken over the point guard role and the closer role for the Clippers. I didn't see it coming, but I see it happening again and again and again.
You know what I see happening? I see a guy that when they get a lead, that's able to relax. That's what I saw in game 3.
Really?
That's what I saw in game 4. And when things are not comfortable for him, I see a guy that starts to press and then comes into the press conference with his head down and talk about he need to be aggressive and he just got to keep shooting. That's what I see. That's what you see too? Okay, I'm glad we see the same thing.
Scale of 1 to 10 on trustability. I'm up to a 9 because I see a young man who has grown up and toughened up right before your very eyes.
You just saw game 1.
Nobody in this league has been ridiculed more than George Paul, as I used to call him, was in the bubble last year.
Why you call him that?
Because especially that started in Indiana, where he came up smaller and smaller. He ran from last shots. I don't want it. Don't look at me.
And given that what he's done in OKC, and given what he's done in the Clippers, now after 2 games, you're at a 9. After you nicknamed that man that, after you've seen the failures in OKC and in LA.
He got fire tested in the bubble, and he lived to tell. And he got fire tested all through the regular season. Remember what happened in opening night at Staples against your team? What did he do? He took the game over in the 3rd and the 4th quarter.
You know, that's opening night.
Okay, I got it. But he did that. That was the start of him becoming a man, an NBA man, right before your very eyes. You know it, and I know it. He has played at a supremely high level all year. And in the 4th quarters of these 4 Utah games, 13 in the game 1, 10 in game 2 at Utah, 6, it was the blowout game, the domination game, game 3, and then 9 last night. He closed that deal. It was getting dicey. Here came the Jazz, who led the NBA in 3-point makes, and they were bombs away, and all of a sudden Ingles makes one that cut it to 10. And I thought, because you know how the NBA is now, 10 points in the last minute is nothing.
I want you to keep that same energy.
Yeah, I got the same energy. I've had it all year for George Paul.
After this series is over, we're gonna have Jenny. We want to have the same question again.
Yep,
How much do you trust PG?
Okay, well, we'll see about that, because pandemic P has turned back into playoff P, and the truth is, he's actually late game P now. Late game P. That's when I trust him the most. I don't mind the ball in his hand. He shoots it with conviction. He shoots it with guts. And he shoots it sweet, man. He holds the pose. When he lets go of threes now, I'm like, that's good.
Why wasn't he holding the pose in game 1 and 2? Why wasn't he holding the pose in game 6 and 7?
Well,
why was he holding the pose?
What did I tell you after game 1? He should have taken that last shot when he had it in his hands.
Skip.
One dribble, go up and take it and make it.
The thing is, Skip, is that they got out to these big leads.
Mm-hmm.
When they get out to big leads, Paul George can relax because now the pressure's been removed. I need Utah.
Yep.
In order to beat the Clippers, you got to put them under the gun from start to finish and watch them fold like banquet chairs at the end of the night.
Okay, we'll see about that. Did he fold last night?
Skip, they was up by 28 at one point.
They were not up. Again, it got cut to 10, and Kawhi is sitting over on the bench with a bum knee.
Think about what you just said. Think about what you just said. People at home, Skip Bayless said the league got cut to 10 with a minute to go.
No, with 2 minutes to go.
10.
2 minutes. That's nothing.
No. I need that. I need you to.
2 minutes and 10 seconds left. Ingles hits a 3, and I'm like, here we go.
I need the score to be tied.
Yeah, in late
with
game,
2 minutes to go.
Late game, P said, no. Can we see that real quick?
No, we don't need to see it. No, we saw it last night. We watched the game.
Here, we just got to see the 3 and then the bank shot. These are big-time shots. This is when this...
That was a push-off. That was a foul.
Look at this. How sweet is that? Just rips it. Then he says, I got this. I'll just go a little glass here. I'll go off
so you will let Zubac play offensive tackle and just shove, go out the way?
Look at these free throws. How sweet are these? They're all swishes. He made 4 straight free throws to just nails in the coffin. It's over. We got this.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We already got 2 cases on tomorrow. So,
well, I got those points. I love those points.
what points?
2.5.
Oh,
Yeah, nothing.
it'd be 5-point victory. Easy.
Next, because New Balance got now.
New Balance.
Yeah.
Y'all got Sydney McLaughlin. I mean, y'all highest profile. She track and field. Y'all highest profile athlete.
Okay.
Trevon Burrell, somebody like that. But
we got Kawhi.
No mercy.
Just days before clashing in a Hell in a Cell match for the Universal Championship, will Rey Mysterio avenge his son Dominic after another brutal attack by Roman Reigns? It's an all-new Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
Trae Young led the Hawks with 25 points and 18 assists in last night's Game 4 win to even the series. Trae started a bit cold, missing his first 5 field goal attempts, but finished strong, scoring 8 in the fourth quarter. So, Shannon, please give Trae a letter grade for last night. What do you got?
peace up. 8 times down. Hey.
Really?
Youngest player in the NBA here with a 25-15.
You don't believe what you're trying to say.
Hold on. That was a second. Youngest player ever with a 25-15 playoff game. Now, here's the thing, Skip. Sure, the three-point ball, the 35-footers weren't going down like they normally do. But
normally do?
Yeah, they normally go down.
They don't normally go down.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. Don't try to undermine my guy. My guy be hitting shots from the varsity. Okay. You ain't never been to the varsity. But anything. The hardest thing for a young player to do is to realize that I can contribute, I can help my team win without scoring, especially if you are a scorer. Now, Skip, if I just Clint Capella knows scoring is not how he helps the Hawks win. It's rebounding, it's defense, it's setting screens. But if you are a scorer, the hardest thing for you to understand and come to grips with is that I need to be able to help my team if my shot's not falling. Now, this is what he did. Now, Skip Bayless loved the fourth quarter. He loves clutch time. This is what he did. Big plays down the stretch for Ice Trae. Great wraparound to John Collins, 2:15 left. Floater. They gave him the lead with 1:15. And then you like making free throws down the... Because you just showed the clip of Paul George. Making free throws.
He made his free throws.
4 of them.
Yep.
So he gets an A because guess what? We going back to Philly tied up.
Okay.
And we got momentum.
Somebody has to be objective at this table, so I'm going to be really kind to him, and I'm going to give him a B- just because of the 18 assists. That's extraordinary.
That's A right there.
Because I told you from the start, because I watched him very closely at the University of Oklahoma, he is a gifted passer. He is right up there with Luka. He's not quite LeBron, but he's got the gift. And it's rare, and it comes along infrequently. He can pass the basketball. He can see it and feel it. He gets a little wild with it occasionally, but it works. And he made some big-time fourth-quarter dishes.
Yes.
The one down the baseline, that's big time.
Yes.
Okay? I give you all the above. But you sanitized his last 5 minutes in the fourth quarter. 5:25, he missed a three when the game was tied. He tries a driving layup, which is just up in the trees. He's maestro. He's just too little to try that. And at 4:49, he missed that when they were up 2. He missed another three with 3:52 left when they were up 1. He did make that floater at 1:17. That was a good shot. That was a clutch shot.
Was that the game winner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Put him up. No, it cut it to 1, actually. That cut it to 1. And then he made those free throws, which iced the game. And I will give you the free throws. But in the end, in the big picture, Atlanta won in spite of his shooting because it was horrendous, his shooting. He's 8 of 26 from the floor and 3 of 11 from 3. So can we count the ways he's been bad in this series? Do you realize in the 4 games he's shooting 31% from 3? 31%. And by the way, could we see the most wide open look that he had all night came with 6 minutes left in the first quarter when he was 0 for 5 in the first quarter. Look at this. That was nothing but backboard.
Man, that was the first quarter.
He missed
we don't count anything in the first quarter.
That's nothing but plexiglass.
We don't count anything in the first quarter.
How do you miss it that badly? That's the most open look he had the whole night.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was 2 of 5. He was 4 of 4 from the free throw line. He was +7.
Okay.
Of everybody that touched the floor last night in the fourth quarter, he had the best plus minus.
Okay. So I will remind everybody, during the regular season, he was 34% from 3. That ranked 133rd of 156 qualified three-point shooters. He's pretty horrible from 3.
Guess what?
But he cut his threes down during the regular season, and now they're starting to go up
And
again.
Julius Randle shot better from the 3, and what did he do to him? Dispatch the Knicks. And you talking about they weren't going to get no games off of Philly.
During the regular season, he took 10 from 2 years ago and cut it down to 6 attempts during the regular season. Went up to 11 last night, and he was 3 for 11. They shouldn't have won the game, but Embiid limped and gimped through the whole second half.
I don't know about no limp. I don't hear no. The great Skip Bayless.
He's taking too many threes. And you know why? Because he's at home, and it's State Farm, and they're going nuts, and they want to see logo threes.
The Pulitzer Prize winning Skip Bayless told me, if you're healthy, if you're hurt, and you're out there, you're healthy.
No, you told me that.
Nah,
You taught me that one.
One or two things. I need you to do one or two things. If you're hurt, sit out. Or if you're hurt and play, don't use it as an excuse.
I guess he's playing hurt because every time Trae Young goes to the bench, they put some giant ice pack on his little shoulder.
What about you look at Trae arm?
Yeah.
That's the arm he shoot with.
I know. Okay, so he's got a built-in excuse. He's going LeBron. He needs props. He needs prop excuses. Way to go.
Hold on. You just said about Joel Embiid every time he goes to the bench.
You can see it. He's dragging.
I can't see nothing.
Dragging his leg down.
I can't see nothing.
Yeah.
I can't see anything.
It's a sweet prop.
See?
Yeah.
Everybody got a prop. Luka had that on.
Yeah, he did.
So
Luka goes over there. As soon as he starts going south, he goes over there and he's got something on his shoulder.
Man, when you shoot them low,
it's the way the kids do it.
When you shoot 40-foot threes, it's taxing on your body, little body like that.
It must be.
A. He gives an A.
How can you give him an A when he shoots 8 of 26?
Did they win? 18 assists.
Thanks to Joel Embiid.
Name somebody that's younger that's had more assists.
He can pass the basketball. That's what he should concentrate on doing. But he has to live up to the hype, especially at home. He's got to launch 11 threes because he's cold as ice.
Yeah.
He's cold. He's shivering. It makes me shiver to watch him.
You don't normally expect ice storms in June in the 8th. Now, pop-up thunderstorms.
Yeah.
That's the reason I bought me a generator for my home because I got tired of my power being knocked out. But I'm prepared.
Yeah.
Ice storm come.
Is he going to be just this cold up in Philly?
We coming. Look,
man, they're going to have to turn on the heat.
This is what we do know. We're going to come back to the highlight factory, the State Farm Arena for Game 6.
Okay.
We're going to get y'all in 7.
You're going to need Jake.
I tell you what, Skip. You better win Game 5.
Yep.
If you don't win Game 5, you're not going back. We're not coming back for a game. Guess what? I already told them. Just fact one thing. We getting ready to go to Milwaukee. He go to Milwaukee.
Well, if somebody can convince Joel Embiid just to forget about his little cartilage tear and
don't forget about it. Ain't nothing wrong with Joel Embiid.
Just spin.
There is nothing wrong with Joel Embiid. You told me that. How did you still ain't told me how a one-legged man got 21 rebounds?
Because these guys they shot it 101 times and made only 37. He's standing on one leg in the middle of the lane just getting defensive rebounds. They're all defensive.
So was he on one leg when he got 40 and 13?
No.
Was he on one leg when he got 39 and 12?
I told you it wasn't bothering him a bit.
Okay, so now it's bothering. He loses bothering.
You saw it was. He went to the locker room for like 20 minutes.
His stomach was hurt. They gave him some Pepto-Bismol.
That was another year.
That's a normal thing, and I can't believe Skip is giving Trae a hard time for icing his shoulder.
Yeah.
Trying to,
Prop.
That's a
lot of
prop.
ice, but still, geez.
That's a prop.
All eyes are on
Good prop.
KD.
I like
Will he
it.
rise above Brooklyn's injuries and deliver a win tonight? We will be watching. Let's talk about it next.
No mercy.
Kevin Durant will have all eyes on him to lead the Nets while trying to avoid going down 3-2 in the series against the Bucks tonight. Kyrie Irving has been ruled out, but James Harden has been upgraded to doubtful at this point. Shannon, what's KD's line and what is the score tonight?
I'm going to say KD goes for 31 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, but the Bucks win 102-92.
Went up by 10?
I believe they win by 10. Yeah.
Interesting. By the way, the Clippers are just too good to get jinxed. Let's get
Okay,
that.
good.
Oh, okay.
They're just too good.
That means you're really real good about yourself now.
Really
Okay.
good.
Okay.
I got KD going 35, 14, and 10 assists. And I got him shooting 15 free throws because no more football will be played by P.J. Tucker. So, to me, he'll go 15 of 15 from the free throw line, and the Nets will win 105-102. But in case they stumble a little bit, I still got my 4 points in my back pocket, thanks to you, and I'm good to go.
That's why I got 110 to work. I factored that in, so they're going to win 102-96.
Yeah, 102. Oh, you just upped your score.
I factored your 4 points in.
Oh, because you saw me coming like you did last night?
I get it back. I will slowly but surely.
Nope.
I will get it back.
I'm good. Okay. Go, KD. This is your night.
Go, KD.
Let's go, Giannis.
We will be watching you. The world will be watching. That is it for Undisputed. Skip, Shannon, great stuff. The Herd is on now. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a good one.